Good morning, everybody. This is Jim with Compliance Professionals. We've got a rather timely topic that we're going to be talking about today. It happens to be weather and tornado safety. So let's talk about tornadoes. I mean, there's no guarantee in regards to tornadoes as to what can happen, especially if you get caught and you're inside one. So let's talk about some of the signs of a tornado. If you've lived in Kansas, Missouri for any length of time, I probably don't need to tell you what those might be. Strong, persistent rotation in a cloud base. You look up and you see things that are pretty bad, clouds moving around in a circle. If you see a lot of whirling dust or debris down on the ground. And the interesting thing is we can get tornado watches and tornado warnings, but a tornado has to start someplace. And for those people that were at the location where the tornado started, they don't have a lot of warning. All of a sudden, things start whirling around in a big, big circle. So keep an eye on the mesocyclones that are up in the sky. You might get hail or heavy rain associated with a tornado, and you can see a persistent lowering of the entire cloud base. The tornado might be 10 miles over that direction, and you look over that way and you just see nothing but a wall cloud coming directly towards you. So pay attention, okay? So let's talk about the job site. What do you do if you're out on the job site and you hear there's a tornado coming? Well, first of all, a lot of you guys have one of these, a phone. And some of you might be able to hear the phones when they're working. The clouds aren't looking too good, and all of a sudden your alarm goes off and it's a tornado watch. Anybody here remember what a tornado watch means? That doesn't mean there's a tornado in the area. A tornado watch means there could be. The conditions exist that could produce a tornado, hail, damaging winds, thunderstorms, lightning, things of that nature, okay? That's a tornado watch. A lot of times it doesn't even affect the area where you're at. It might be a nice day. There could be very little wind whatsoever, a very calm day, and you're out there working. I've seen those conditions exist just 4 or 5 miles away from an actual tornado, and it's totally unbelievable, but it can happen. If there is a tornado warning, that means that somewhere in the area there's a tornado and it's on the ground. This will go off, and a foreman, once they're appraised that there's a tornado watch or warning in the area, is going to let everybody know what's going down. You need to be careful at that point in time. You need to get off that structure if there is a tornado warning, and you need to seek shelter. Okay, so where do you go? It kind of depends on the building itself and what condition it happens to be in at the time. I mean, if there's just some sticks of steel sticking up in the air, that's not very good shelter. However, if the building itself has some structure to it, and you can go down in that and get on the very lowest portion possible, that's better than nothing at all. A lot of people may leave the area. You might leave the job site if all of a sudden you have bad weather conditions. You're going to be told to get down. It might be raining. Everybody's down when it's raining. The wind might be blowing. You can't be up there when the wind's blowing. At that point in time, you've got some choices as to what you might do. You might be able to seek shelter in the building where you're at. If not, and you walk out towards your car, I want to mention one thing to you. Cars aren't good places to be if there's a tornado and you get caught in the tornado, because gravity wins every time, fellas. that car can be picked up in the air and thrown 500 yards, and then you come back down again. Okay? So you got to be very careful. You say, I'm going to my car, I'm going to find shelter there. So let me give you a couple tips to work off of. And I know that they work because I've used them myself. I'm out on the road, I'm going to lots of different places. I'm in my truck, and if there's a tornado in the area, I've already determined. I know where some office buildings are that are close. Many times where you're building buildings, there's other buildings that have already been built and they have basements in them. I would seek shelter there to begin with. If you go into an office that's nearby, run into the hallway, find the bathroom, run into the bathroom. Seek shelter in there. Don't go into an office where there's glass all around you. Find hallways to go into. It makes much more sense when you go into buildings such as that. If you happen to be in an area where you're building that's around schools, go into a big school building. Those are normally made out of various types of masonry of different kinds. Go into one of those. Seek shelter. Try and find the bathroom. Once again, go into that. You can also find hospitals that might be in the area. Go into the hospital. Stay in the hospital. You'll find good shelter there. If you are in your car and you have to leave the area, try and find out the path of the tornado and go in a 90-degree angle to it. Don't run around on the job site looking for the tornado, getting everybody together and say, oh yeah, look, it's over there. Don't do that. Get in your car and leave. Travel in a 90-degree angle. I had to do that once when I was out camping. All of a sudden I was in a tornado. I could see the tornado. It scared me to death. I jumped in my car, took off, headed in a 90-degree angle, had no idea where I was going. I did know I was going in a 90-degree angle though. And I know I drove for about 20 minutes before I finally calmed back down again. If you cannot get away, if you cannot get into a building, you need to try and find a ditch that's nearby and get down inside that ditch. Get as low as you possibly can. If you've had rain, the ditch is going to have water in it. It might have water traveling through it. It is low inside the ditch as you possibly can. Many, many people have lived because they've done that. The best thing to do is to be self-aware on the job and know what's going on. Look at a weather report. Listen to your foreman and to what they're saying in regards to the worksite conditions and what you should and shouldn't do. Okay, I put together a little quiz for you. The most violent tornadoes can level and blow away almost any house, and its occupants also can get blown away. Is that true or false? Yeah, that's true. Tornadoes are extremely violent. They can blow anything away. They took Freeman Hospital down in Joplin 6 inches off its foundation. Okay, that was a 300-mile-an-hour tornado. Prevention and practice should be discussed before the storm by having a tornado plan in place. There's a tornado plan in place on your job sites. The foremans will know about it. Whoever's in charge of the job is going to know about it also. You should talk to friends or family about having a predetermined place to meet after the storm if your house has been damaged. Some of you guys may go back home to terrible living conditions. Maybe your home has been hit by the tornado. If that's the case, if you're arriving home, you need to have a place to meet your family or friends who lived in that dwelling. Might be a church down the block, might be a gas station a few blocks over, might be a school. Everybody's going to meet there, but you should discuss it. If a tornado is in the general area, you should go outside and try and look at it. Don't do that. False. If you live in a house with a basement, or if you're on a job site that has a basement, you should get in the basement and cover yourself up. with heavy, like a mattress, with clothing. Get underneath a very strong table if there's something down in the basement. If you live in a mobile home and a tornado is heading towards you, you should get out and seek safety in a permanent building or underground shelter. That's really true, you guys. If you're driving along and there's a tornado, you've left your job site and there's a tornado, and you need to get underground as fast as you possibly can. Park your car in a parking lot, run into a building, and seek shelter. So I just want to tell you to be very careful. I have experience with tornadoes. I've been in several tornadoes, and they're scary. Please, everybody, be safe. Thanks very much.